Hello everybody, my name is Dennis Page and today I will be reviewing set number 31120, the Creator Castle. This set was released I believe in 2021 or maybe beginning 2022. I haven't looked it up. A while ago, but not that long ago. It retailed for €100 and in this video I will be reviewing all three of the sets. This is actually the last one I have built, so you'll see the other ones after, but they were built before this one. The set comes with 3 minifigures and a dragon, although the dragon will be broken apart in the other builds, and it comes with a castle. Let me first start with those minifigures, then go on to the castle. So for the 3 figures we have 2 of the Black Falcons and one like regular civilian dude. The Black Falcons, they come with different weapons and they change in the other builds, but I'll show what they change to then and there. Printing is pretty nice. Comparing it with one of the originals, where you can see the things do change, but well, for the better in my opinion. You still see the darker colors and a bit of a red like belt kind of thing, so look pretty cool, kind of accurate, so that's pretty nice. For the faces, ooh, yeah, we have a bit of an old guy, we have a female, and I believe none of them have back printing. No, see, they don't, but their printing is really cool and I do really like the shield piece. There are 2 of them, one is in here, one is on the build itself. But that's it for the minifigures. They are really cool, just weird that there are only 3 of them in such a big set. Let's show you the dragon. So here we have the dragon, and it's a green dragon, so it's a classical dragon. One thing that I find really fun or interesting is that it looks really similar to the green dragon from the CMF series. Maybe it's just the point that they're both green and pretty recent, but that's really interesting. But for the dragon itself, you will see the dragon rating up here somewhere. He has pretty great articulation. I do like his tail, this piece especially. These wings are simple but effective, and comparing it to a minifigure, it's not like the biggest dragon there is, but for a castle dragon, it's really cool, and it's kind of paying homage to the old dragons. Although I don't have a green one to compare it to, I will kind of compare it to the black one. Pretty similar size, although it's a bit bigger. So in that case, it looks really cool, and I'm quite happy with it. He also spits out a bit of fire on his little beak. You can take it off, and I really like the use of these leaf pieces on the head to give out like ears or something. So pretty cool dragon. Will be standing maybe with the castle or maybe with all the other dragons. I don't think he gets this right with the other dragons because he's so much smaller than the Ninjago ones. So, but that's something to worry about later. Let's get into the build itself. And for the build itself, I must say it's a really big one, where it stands in about 25 centimeters, about 9 or 10 inches, something around there. But it's a pretty big one, and what I do really like is it's a full castle. It's fully enclosed all the way around. There's a lot of details, so in that way it's a really cool set. I'll start with the front for the exterior. We have a bit of a greenish rock work, so it's like a mossy rock. For the rest, it's simply a castle. It has, like, I would say, a cherry blossom tree, some little mushrooms, So this part looks really cool. Having the stonework, they use these pieces around here and also at the top, but then inverted. So it gives out like a structural element. The other builds used it too. Um, I like the flags, simple but effective. I do also like this little Black Falcons piece. Just too bad that it's not securely in there, so it spins about a bit. The color scheme of the yellow, brown and the dark blue for the houses or house builds is a really cool one. Just like the regular castle with the light bluish gray and the dark bluish gray. I do really like this build technique used a lot in here, where they just use these sleek cheese slopes and then the snot bricks on the side. Gives out a really cool, well, just a sliver, which it's meant to be. And I also really like these Nexonite shields simply being put on here for the, I don't know the English word, but for the structures at the top. Also, really like the blue flags everywhere. Going on to the side, where you have simply a continuation of the wall, nothing too interesting. Another of these brick structures, and I like this build with again the roof. It's like a bit of a watchtower where it does its job. Another bit of a structure to go on, bit of a targeting system, which they should really watch out for the little chickens, which I really like, by the way. They're pretty cool builds. So that's the fun thing with Creator. They don't use actual animals, but they use like man-made or brick build, which is really cool. Again, one of these buildings. This time it's supposed to be a blacksmith, but I'll get into that later. Having a bit of a cool chimney with a sideways thing, sideways build, and we also have like a watermill, bit of leaves, and then we get back to the same structure we were. One interesting thing to notice is that these plates, they're not regular blue, no, they're dark azure, and that's the color which isn't used that often in Lego, so it's fun to have a lot of plates in there. But as some of you might have seen, these hinges, they must mean that the set can open up, which it can. At the back, you can splay it out, and you have a bit of a bigger interior. Where, let's go on to that for the next part. We have a bit of a cell with someone who's been standing there way too long. There's a bit of a shop which has some apples and a bit of bread, a bit of a roof. Nothing to the interior of the watchtower, but you can simply put some figures in there. I do really like that they have a consistent space for the people to walk around. In the middle there's also not too much room, although I do really like this falcon which is on there. It's a really cool build, so that's great. Not too much interior, although there's this drawbridge you saw outside, and I didn't tell you just yet, but if you crank this piece, you can actually draw up the drawbridge, and if you crank it back while lifting this piece, it'll actually drop. So that's a pretty cool feature, similar to what original things would have done. On the right side here, we have a bit of a mouse, which is a pretty fun build with a load of a bit of cheese. Then, starting at the top, we have a bit of a house with a bit of a room for someone to sit. Nothing too interesting. Also, there's this door going to the outside, bit of the fireplace, and underneath we have a whole blacksmith. Ooh, it's getting pretty dark in there. Where you have a set of armor which you can use with one of the figures, and there's this anvil, and behind there's a bit of like burning stuff, but with the anvil there's a bit of a hammer which when you turn the water mill, the hammer actually lifts up and comes back down. So you can actually do something really fun. I'm hoping you can see this good way. When you turn it around, it actually, like, it really slams on the blade, which is really cool. And the last thing, there's a bit of a crate in here with some jewels, which is stored all the way at the back here. One thing that's also of interest is you can also break the set apart right here, and you can add the other sets. So my suspicion was right. You can add all the sets together if you want to get more of them. So you can build them in whatever connection you would want. Let's go on to the second build. I forgot to show you before we go on to the next part. There's also this little bell included in the main build. Now let's get on to the second build. So here we have the second build, which is quite a tall one, where it stands in at about 40 centimeters, including the flag, which translates to about 16 inches, I would say, which is quite big, as you can see. The variation on the minifigures, they all don't have any weapons, but this guy now has armor. Let's get them out of the way and start with the side build, where there is a little bucket. There is a targeting system and a catapult. I will now cut it in half a bit of how it works, and then I'll show you the look first, where it's pretty cool and it actually works. I haven't tried it yet with the catapulting system, but you can actually, like, turn this to the back, which lowers it, and when I release, it will shoot off. Having some great details. Could be first build or main build, but it's the second one. So, and you can try to shoot with these little gray things. You can put them in the bucket. Ooh, this is hard to do with one hand. And then the idea is that you would crank it up and then it would shoot off. Maybe I can get a good try on video. Well, that's not working. As you can see, I've put it here. It's about the right distance. It did hit it just now, but it's really hard to crank it and film it as point. But the system, it works really cool, where you can actually shoot it off and you can eventually hit the little barrel off if you shoot it hard enough. So then you have a crate with another one extra. So pretty fine, and I do quite like how it works. Now we get on to the tower, which is very big and I quite like it. Let's start with the base, where I first off really enjoy the color scheme they're using, where they have like olive and dark azure, some dark blue stairs going up, where you can to the doors. The tower, you have a big rock work, which reveals. And here on the side you have a bit of a rock piece, which you can twist away to give you a bit of a cave, which you can put something in, which you can get by here on the far end, opening the jail gate. Looks pretty cool. These things can swivel side to side, which isn't that interesting just yet, but these clips and here, which means you can actually add, I believe you can add the other models to this. This is the first one I've built, so I don't know for certain, but I would believe that all the models have these things. So if you get all three of the sets, so the set 3 times, and they'll build the 3 different ones, you can add all of them together, which is pretty cool. Now going up, you have these big, other side, there's a bit of plant work, nothing too interesting on this side. Going up, you have these gates, which can open up. They're not the most sturdy, but they don't need to be. Although the interior, as you can also see from the back side, is very empty. Next on, we have a bit of a small dragon, which I'll take out to show you a bit better. Where it's a miniature dragon, looks pretty cool. Dragon rating right here for this one. Looks pretty cool, and I'll put it back. Do really like these dragon sculptures on the side. Won't do a rating of those, sadly. For the exterior, you have a big banner, which is cool. Going up a layer, you see that there's like a gunshot in here, or a cannon shot. And interior, there's a bit of a potion making class, or whatever. There's a, I would presume like a stethoscope, or to look at the stars, with the yellow building having the golden shutters, nice roof, getting even higher. Now we're getting to the topmost layer, which having the same thing as the normal A build, the first build, having no interior, I believe. Now that's a bit sad that there is not that much interior in all of them, and having the roof, which I do quite like, and topping it off with a blue flag. This build, it took me like about an hour and a half to build, and it comes with a lot of extra pieces. So let me get those. Where in extra pieces is this whole bucket of, which are unused, so you could use them to add to this build yourself, or add to your collection, or you can choose one of the other models, because there's one more. Let's get into that right now. So now for the third and final build of this video. This is the second one I've built, so I haven't built the main build yet, but this one is also pretty fun. It has again the 3 minifigures, this time a bit different. As you can see, this is the same, and these faces are switched out, so let's get them out of the way. And it also utilizes some of the same features seen in the previous ones. But let's get into the side build first and go on to the main wall structure. So for the side build, first off, we have a beautiful tree. Let me take it a bit lower. Yeah, we have a beautiful tree having a frog and a bit of a mushroom, some rock structures. It looks pretty cool. Quite happy to have a tree. And also, I do really like these bird figures up there. Maybe like this, it's better. But I like the birds. Simple designs, but easy to add. The leaves, not too interesting, but it does have a bit of a target system, so one of the knights with the bow can try to shoot at the tree and not at the birds. That's it for the tree. Always nice. Probably my favorite thing about this variant of the set, a bit of an armor stand. It's not per se. It has like an armor shop, and it has a shield, it has a spear. There's these slips with a sword, a spear. It also has a helmet, and this flag looks cool. Also like the roof design. Simple build. Will probably be adding something like this to some of my own castle mocks, so pretty cool and inspirational. Now for the main structure. The main structure is in 3 sections, with the middle one, the windmill and the tower. So let's start with the tower, where for the tower we have the same design for the roof as probably both others. You have this beautiful banner, again using this shield piece, which is pretty cool, and having a bit of a bridgeway, an archway, where you can stand behind. We'll get to that later. And you have a bit of water. Also, turning it around to the side, nothing too much. Again, you can combine these with each other. And for the back, just like the last build I showed you. No interior and a bit of a jail cell. For the second or the middle part, you have a bit of a structure. Oh, it is here. A bit of a staircase structure with a chest inside, which is hidden inside of here. It's really hard to get out with my left hand, apparently. Let's do my right hand. Maybe it'll work now. See, first try. And in this chest, it's the same chest piece we've seen, having some bone structures, so I don't know what's going on there. Again, having a bit of a chimney, where on the front we have like a bit of a bakery, which makes sense with a chimney. Pretty cool design for the above part, for the roof. Having some water. So, as I said, with a beautiful roof design, bit of a bakery, a bit of like a water or wine shop. Here you can put in the bread. I believe it will fit. Yeah, so you can bake the bread. Pretty cool, having a bit of an apple right there. So, pretty fine. For the windmill part, we have this amazing windmill. Although, it's a shame that they're not symmetrical. On the back here, there's a little knob which you can turn, so you can actually move it around. Bit of rock structure and foliage, which is fine. For the back of here, nothing too interesting. We have this door which can open to the front, but it leads nowhere, so I don't know why you would open it. So that's it. As you can see, these parts can flip in and out, although this one gets a bit further, which is too bad. But combining it with the other models is really cool, so you can have a different look on the city, where you have it like this, or straight ahead, or again fully straightened out. So there's a lot of options you can choose from. Now let's get into my final thoughts. Now, having built all three of the sets, I can finally give out my final thoughts. First off, I do really advise, if you're even a slight fan of LEGO Castle themes, just like I am, where you can enjoy how they were, then this is an amazing build to pick up. My biggest downside with this set is that you only get two of the falconers, and you don't get a king or a princess or any addition. Even the third figure with this one is kind of lame. So that's a really big gripe I do have. Next to that, this is an amazing set. All three of the builds are really cool. Although I must say that the other two builds, they don't show 100 euros of worth. However, this one, it really does. So that's pretty cool. If you want, however, expand this set, buying another one is probably a good way to do it, and then build the second or the third build, whichever you like more, and then try to use the other parts to build on to it. And you can build on to it with your own parts. You have the size, and with the yellow and the brown, and the dark blue is a bit hard to get, but you can really make it work for your own like little castle layout. If you want to expand it with minifigures, then there is one really amazing option for the most recent minifigure series, which is a falconer. So this one can really add towards the lineup of getting more of the Black Falcons. She is, however, in a separate minifigure series for €4. But you can also get of the previous minifigure series, the Knight of the Yellow Castle. This is a bit of a rarer one, but if you have it, you can even change the shield out with her logo, so that it's her castle. Also a pretty fun way to use different figures. I myself will have the falconer, will remove that guy, and we'll add 2 of the originals, and I'll probably call it a day for this castle. Having 5 of them makes it look way better than having just 2 of them. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and thank me for putting all the effort in. I will see you in the next video. If you haven't already checked out my giveaway, you can do so in the description. There's a video linked in there. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.